LoreWarrior Mercenaries. Brion's Legion. The value of a good education. Even before the Fourth Succession War, Brion's Legion was considered a questionable unit at best. The unit's reputation sank even lower during the Battle for the World of David, when the 12th Deneb Light Cavalry tricked the Legion into revealing its commanding officer's position, and a light cavalry battalion promptly destroyed him. Demoralised and broken, the Legion fled to the Comstar compound for sanctuary. There, its fortunes began to change for the better. When the 12th Deneb blasted Colonel Pythonius Brion to dust, command of the Legion passed to his young son, Octavius Brion. Octavius, hit hardest, more than any other legionnaire by the colonel's death, led the unit's retreat to the Comstar compound. Under the Comstar contract, he became directly accountable to the Precentor Marshal. Octavius grew alongside his legionnaires, learning strategy, tactics, and the principles of command, and pushing himself to become an elite mech warrior. Desiring a more visible Battlemech unit than its then secret Comguard forces, Comstar picked up the Legion's contract. Precentor Marshal Anastasius Vogt, using some of Comstar's hidden Star League-era Battlemechs, brought the Legion back to full regimental strength, and later expanded it to include a second regiment. The mech warriors of Brion's Legion were enrolled in Comstar's rigorous mech warrior training programs. 30 years later, the unit left Terra, bound for duty in the Chaos March. The retrained Legion's first mission was the defense of Pleone, a planet newly liberated by Lao revolutionaries. In early 3058, 2 regiments of the 12th Vegan Rangers, having been repulsed from the Marek border, attempted to retake Pleone rather than fall all the way back to the Phalanxa PDZ. Brion's Legion successfully defended the world, regaining some of the respect it had lost 3 decades earlier. Command. Brion's Legion, though considered veteran by Comstar testing standards, was still an untried unit when it headed into the Chaos March. Under its first contract with Pleone, Octavius had no strategic control of his regiments and little tactical control. All advanced tactical planning had to be cleared through the Planetary Militia's self-styled general. Over the course of the next few contracts, however, the unit retained increasing autonomy, and currently the Legion is stationed on Tomans on a contract with the Lyran Alliance. Available forces and organisation. The Legion is composed of 3 battalions worth of Star League-era mechs, and 3 battalions of standard designs with weapon upgrades. The Legion possesses no supporting elements at this time, having grown dependent on Comstar for such forces. Reportedly, Colonel Brion is shopping around for an aerospace wing, a mercenary armour battalion, and some motorised infantry. Until then, the unit relies on air cover and supporting elements provided by its employer. Though Brion's Legion accepted all the advanced technology that Comstar would give it, the unit held on to its inner sphere organisational scheme. Each regiment is composed of 3 battalions, and each battalion is composed of 3 12-mech companies. The unit hasn't yet adopted the doctrine of independent command lances. Support. The regiment also relies heavily on its employers for technical support, having grown dependent on Comstar. Its own internal support staff provide only 30% of its support needs, but Legion technicians have the expertise to maintain and repair Star League-era technology. So far, the Legion has managed to acquire enough dropship support to transport the equivalent of a single regiment. These dropships have been divided up so that each regiment has some transport capability. The unit is also beginning to spread seabills around in search of a jump ship. Colours and insignia. The regiments of Brion's Legion use a basic camouflage scheme of various greens, though they change it to suit the deterrent terrain. The Legion insignia, a giant bear's paw, is painted on the back left shoulder of every single mech. Each regiment also has an officially designated insignia and a command-adopted insignia. 1st Regiment. David's Lesson. A lack of technical support and transportation, as well as its humiliating retreat 30 years ago, has saddled the 1st Regiment with a Dragoon's rating of D, but most observers expect that rating to improve quickly. The 1st Regiment vowed never to forget the lessons it learned during its defeat on David. The command is confident, yet wary, and well trained in the art of war, 3 things it was not 30 years ago. The 1st Regiment made its clear determination to rebuild its reputation by contesting the initial landing of the 12th Vegan Rangers Gamma Regiment on Pleone, and dealt them a heavy blow. If not for a recall order from the militia general, the 1st Regiment might have crippled the veteran force. Despite heavy-handed interference from the Pleone militia at nearly every step, Brion's Legion still managed to blunt and bloody Gamma Regiment while suffering only minor losses. The designation insignia of the 1st Regiment is the Roman numeral 1, placed on the right shoulders of unit mechs. The regiment's adopted symbol is a pair of legs from a destroyed mech, standing on a horizontal split field of green and blue, a reminder of the regiment's previous defeat. This insignia is painted on the lower left torsos of mechs. Officers. Captain Richard K.O. Merriweather pilots one of the unit's dangerous Crocketts, and is known for his ability to knock down even a heavy mech with a single well-placed salvo. Tactics. The 1st Regiment of Brion's Legion doesn't care for restricted fighting terrain such as mountains or heavy forest. To derive the best advantage from their Star League-era weapons, they need open spaces where they can fire at opponents from long range. Generally, the regiment places these mechs with better technology and the longest weapon ranges up front at first, and then moves these machines to the back of its lines, using its inferior designs to absorb most of the damage inflicted by an opponent. In this way, Brion manages to get the most from every machine, and can work on upgrading those designs that still use standard technology. The 6 Bombardiers in 1st Battalion are assigned to 2nd Company. Merriweather uses these to support the entire battalion. At times, he also places the 6 Bombardiers out in the open, where they can begin to pummel an enemy company at long range. An opposing force will usually try to close, knowing that the support machines are deficient at short range. Once the unit's close enough, the other 6 Star League-era mechs, which include 2 Thugs and 2 Crocketts in the command lance, burst from hiding. Merriweather can usually take down 2 to 4 enemy machines in fast order. These mechs screen the Bombardiers, so the support machines can keep dropping a combined 240 missiles every time their weapons cycle. If the 1st Regiment ever gets Arrow 4 support, Merriweather plans to replace 1 ton of armour with a tag unit in each mech of the command lance for additional close-range capability. 1st Regiment. Veteran Fanatical. CO 1st Battalion Colonel Octavius Brion. XO Major Albert Johansson. 2nd Company Captain Richard Merriweather. 2nd Battalion Major Isabella Francis. 3rd Battalion Major Wellham Owens. Comstar rebuilt the 1st Regiment with 4 companies of Star League machines, including a full company of Bombardiers. Brion split them into 2 demi-companies and placed them in his 1st and 2nd Battalions. The rest of the new machines were divided equally among all 3 Legion battalions. Furthermore, nearly all of the 1st Regiment's older machines have been refitted with Star League-era weapons. 2nd Regiment. Brion's Legacy. The Dragoons rating of the 2nd Regiment is expected to rise in the next 6 to 12 months as the unit increases its technical support and acquires more dropships. During the action on Pleone, the 2nd Regiment matched up against the 12th Vegan Rangers regular quality Delta Regiment, which was supported by a mixed regiment of aerospace, infantry and armour forces. The 2nd Regiment's lack of aerospace assets hindered the Legionnaires considerably, but once Pleone militia aerospace fighters managed to extend air cover to the Mercenaries, the 2nd Regiment rolled up the Rangers and chased them off the planet. The 2nd Regiment's designation insignia is a Roman numeral 2, which is painted on the right shoulder of the unit's mechs. The regiment's adopted insignia is a Roman gladius, dividing a square field into a red and blue triangle. Additionally, painted on the upper right of the mechs. Dragoon rating is C-. Officers. Lieutenant Colonel Robert Markham is a fine mech warrior and tactician, but he doesn't inspire pride in the members of the regiment. Major Douglas Lee, on the other hand, is a charismatic individual, toward whom people naturally gravitate. Together, they make a formidable team. Should one be lost, however, problems would likely arise. Lieutenant Sheila Olsen commands the reconnaissance lance of the 3rd Battalion's 3rd Company. In her Mongoose, she seems to fly around the field with her lance, and the group often causes more mischief than a lance of light mechs should ever be capable of. Tactics. Brion's Legacy frequently transmits the Star League anthem over the airwaves to underscore the unit's use of Star League mechs and intimidate their opponents. The unit also favours concentrated fire during the early stages of battle. In fact, the entire regiment often moves and fires in concert from long range, creating battlefield broadsides that few non-veteran units can withstand. 2nd Regiment, regular, reliable. CO 1st Battalion, Lieutenant Colonel Robert Markham. XO Major Douglas Lee. 2nd Battalion, Major Ernest Julio. 3rd Battalion, Major Shane Fletcher. 3rd Company Recon, Lieutenant Sheila Olsen. Of 2nd Regiment's 110 Battlemechs, 2/3 are Star League designs and the rest are standard design upgraded with Star League technology. When arrayed on a battlefield, these machines present an impressive and intimidating sight. The remaining 2 mechs in the regiment are part of 3rd Company's Recon Lance. This 6 mech unit features Star League Battlemechs that are capable of incredible speed.